Hello, Flat Earth researchers, debaters, and debunkers. If you're one of those who came across the Flat Earth discussion and had the strength of character to examine your own beliefs and presuppositions about where we live, life, the universe, and everything, then you're in a fortunate position to have been open minded and honest enough with yourself to realize that the truth of the matter is we have been thoroughly deceived and programmed to believe in something that is nothing more than a creation story put together as a mathematical model that really has no basis in our reality, even though it's passed off as science. And of course, with just a little discretion and discernment, we can realize that there is a vast difference between real science and physics and the exploration of science and that of the pseudoscience that has created this globe Earth belief out of presuppositions and assumptions and preferences and mathematical models. But understandably, it's a tough thing for people to let go of. And of course, what this entire topic is one that embodies both science and philosophy. And if you look at people discussing or arguing the whole flat Earth, globe Earth thing on YouTube, you'll see that most of the time discussions quickly devolve into name calling, and you get this very stark dichotomy of those who will try to defend the globe and those who want to just encourage those defenders of the globe belief to be open-minded and to be honest about what can or cannot be proven scientifically without the attachment to the belief. So I came across a gentleman called Paul Graham, who's a programmer and an author and very successful entrepreneur, venture capitalist, etc. He's from the UK, and he's educated in a Bachelor of Arts in Philosophy, as well as having a Master of Science. So, and here we go with he's a Doctor of Philosophy, and he's got degrees in computer science as well. So, this is a man who has studied and maybe become accomplished in both these fields of what you could collectively call science or scientific exploration, because that's really what science is. It's just an exploration of our physical world and what we make of it. What Paul Graham came up with was this hierarchy of disagreement, which we can see on the right. I'll enlarge this in a minute, but let's just go through what he says about this hierarchy of disagreement. And this very much refers to the way people debate, and we'll see when we look at this how astute he has been on determining this. So, Graham's hierarchy of disagreement. Graham proposed a disagreement hierarchy in a 2008 essay, How to Disagree, putting types of argument into a 7-point hierarchy and observing that if moving up the disagreement hierarchy makes people less mean, that will make most of them happier. I'll come back to that. Graham also suggested that the hierarchy can be thought of as a pyramid, as the highest forms of disagreement are rarer. So the top of the pyramid is the most rare form. Following this hierarchy, Graham notes that articulate forms of name-calling, e.g. the author is a self-important dilettante, are no different from crude insults. So just go back to this bit here. If moving up the disagreement hierarchy makes people less mean, that will make most of them happier. And this is really what anyone who realizes that we're not on a globe aims to do when trying to inform other people of the globe lie. Although, again, the arguments and the debate, as it were, quickly falls into this name-calling, which is at the base of this hierarchy disagreement pyramid. It begins with a good intention, and that is to free people from the programming and the mind control that has had us become fixated on this belief that we're on a spinning ball. And there's so many other connotations that come with it, and aspects of our life, our mindset, our constitution that are compromised by the belief that we live on a spinning rock flying around the sun in the vacuum of space. It really does just go against all our sensibilities and reality, yet we are taught to totally believe that there is no question, and we're often accused of all sorts of things just for questioning it in the first place, by actually being scientific. And it's really, on the one hand, it's a stark representation of the dire straits that the human race is in our we believe that we have advanced so much with technology, yet on another level we're just not that smart, and it takes a lot of soul searching and humbling of oneself to realize. So let's just have a look at this hierarchy, and we'll start at the bottom, and you'll see these correlations immediately. So it starts out, the base of it, name calling sounds something like "you're an idiot." So if you're a proponent of the flat Earth, then you'll have, of course, been told this, or much worse. You know, you're a moron. You don't know this. You're just so. This is the basic, the most base argument that comes back with nothing to back that claim apart from name calling. We've all seen this, and of course it happens on both sides. There's no denying that. But this really doesn't get anyone anywhere. Now, of course, we can refer to this whole pyramid and what's listed here as a way of interacting with other people, but we can also refer it to ourselves as well, how we ourselves look at the conflicts in our own minds. So keep that in mind as well. Ad hominem attacks the characteristics or authority of the writer without addressing the substance of the argument. We've all had this as well. You know, I'm superior and you're inferior because I'm this and you're that and you're nothing, etc. We've all seen those kind of arguments before. So from people who believe they are better educated or have a better career or better status than the person that is trying to tell them that they believe in something that's not true. Responding to tone is the next one up. So the person criticizes the tone of the writing without addressing the substance of the argument. Again, of course, we can get very heated and direct in defending our our stance, and of course then, you know, the tone, the way it's delivered, you know, shooting the messenger is what ends up happening rather than addressing the actual issue. You know, you can teachers teach in many different ways. They can be all nice and pleasant, or they can be very strict and come across as nasty. But ultimately, they are trying to teach something. So the way something is taught doesn't really deviate from what's being taught, but it's obviously up to the individual, the student. And we're all students of life, we're all learning. But it's really up to us as individuals to, again, use discernment to really try to put aside the way the message is delivered, or to criticize how the message is being put across, and look at the actual argument. Next one up, contradiction. States the opposing case with little or no supporting evidence. So we've all seen this again, where someone comes in to defend their globe belief, and they'll rattle off all these so-called pieces of evidence, or the explanations that we all know, we've all been through. And so, you know, whether it's the Foucault's pendulum or what have you, star rotation, etc. These are all things that come up, and but really are not backed by any science. They are just, you know, it just goes backwards and forwards with these explanations that are passed off as proofs. Next one up, counter-argument. Contradicts and then backs it up with reasoning and or supporting evidence. So this is getting a little bit closer to the crux of the issue. So fair enough. I mean, people then you know, use research and maybe some facts that have been gathered to back up their case. And of course, then you've got to go ahead and discuss how those have come about, or whether they are just interpretations, or what has been interpreted from observations or measurements, have all the aspects of what's been measured been taken into account. This is where we'll often find these compartmentalized explanations for the globe Earth belief that, when you really consider it, don't fit with the other explanations that we've been given. And this, I think, is a very stark difference between the truth seeker and the globe defender, who will, you know, someone who has really looked into this with an open mind will have looked at all the different arguments and explanations collectively and tried to put them together in a big picture, whereas the defender of the globe will continue to try and use their compartmentalized arguments without realizing that you know, there is a disagreement with one argument that is supporting the globe and another argument that's supporting the globe. And then we get to refutation. Finds the mistake and explains why it's mistaken using quotes. So again, we often come across third-party information, hearsay. This is often used, but we still, you know, we can go round and round in circles on this point if someone hasn't looked into, again, the details or the other aspects that might affect certain conclusions that have been made. And then we get to the top, refuting the central point. Explicitly refutes the central point. And we could change this from refute to address. Explicitly addresses the central point. And it's only when people, whether we're challenging our own beliefs or those of others, or we discuss the point that's been made, that we can really truly arrive at some kind of proper understanding or agreement when we get to that central point, and we refute or address that central point. For example, the lack of measurable curvature, and the fact that perspective is something that has been replaced with curvature, or the fact that there is no measurable proof of any of the things that come into the globe belief, the curvature, spin, whatever. For example, just the simple fact that we can't tell whether the Earth is moving or the Sun is moving to cause sunrises and sunsets. If we could at least get to that point when discussing the globe Earth belief, then we should at least reach a mutual understanding that there is no way to tell, and we have been told to believe that it's only one particular way. So I think it's a very good thing to keep in mind, and I think anyone should be able to see how this reflects the discussions and the debates that people have when it comes to the globe Earth or flat Earth debate, as it were. Personally, I don't see it as a debate. It's just, and I don't have an alternative answer either. But it's observably and demonstrably a level, stationary plane. Beyond that requires proper scientific exploration, and philosophizing as well, which of course takes people round and round in circles, but ultimately, if we can keep this kind of thing in mind and avoid all these lower aspects of the hierarchy pyramid, and always stick to refuting or addressing the central point, then we'll get some answers a lot quicker. We'll arrive at some more pragmatic and practical conclusions a lot quicker than all this pussyfooting around with name calling and criticizing and contradictions, etc. So I wanted to highlight that. I'll leave a link in the description to this. It's a great thing to just refer to and think about. Again, not just for our own arguments with other people, but for the discourse that goes on in our own minds. If we can constantly remind ourselves to address or refute the main point, get down to the basics, and not be distracted by all the other things going on around, or the way that can go off in tangents, then this is a very good disciplined way of approaching our own thought processes, our own scientific exploration of our minds. And really this is what it is about. Again, just goes back to what I was trying to say, and what Graham says at the beginning, which is if moving up the disagreement hierarchy makes people less mean, that will make most of them happier. So this is it. We should be able to all communicate and discuss the science and the philosophy of flat Earth, as it has been labelled, by refuting or addressing the central point and putting all this other stuff aside. And we'll have this self-realization of how little we know, and how much we believe, and how much we interpret, or how much we attach ourselves to certain points of views or opinions, etc. That's what this journey is. It's a journey of discovery, journey of discovery about the self. And that's all I've ever wanted personally, is to share this good feeling, this positive turn of events that comes from questioning our own beliefs. And of course it's tough, it's not easy, and people will defend their beliefs with all of these things listed below, and would expend enormous amounts of energy in order to do so, when if we focus our energy on addressing or refuting these central points, then we do become happier, we do become less mean, we do become free. This is it. This is all I'm personally trying to do, is is free people, because I've experienced it myself, and I know a lot of you out there have also experienced that sense of freedom that comes from looking into this and looking into, questioning ourselves. And when we do, and when we have the courage and the strength of character to realize how easily we are misled and how deceptive we can be to ourselves, then we've taken ourselves up a level. We have escaped that prison mind, and all we are trying to do is help other people, give people the keys, open the door to that freedom, and not to say, take this belief and replace it with your belief. No, not that. No, not at all. Be free to explore, and let's collectively work out as individuals with our individual skill sets and experience, and the technology that science has brought us, the internet, computers, etc., the way we can collect information. Let's work together as individuals and celebrate that uniqueness that each of us has, but be free from presuppositions, free from attachments, free from those beliefs that make us behave in the ways that are listed here, from calling someone an idiot or a moron to arguing about something with no actual proof, with just hearsay. So that's all really. Just hope that really helps put things into perspective, and looking forward to your comments. Thank you very much.